Students, let's discuss the title of the story and the poet first. The poem "The Road Not Taken," means, actually the road, the road in which you didn't walk, the road that you didn't take walk in. Actually, this poem is written by Robert Frost, and he is Robert Frost student. Look at here, he is a well-known writer, an American writer, and this poem "The Road Not Taken" is also a very well-known poem, and this poem is actually about making choices. In our life, a student, you can easily understand that, in many a time we come to a situation where we have to make choice, where we have to choose from two given options. So that is actually known as making choices. So, here also in this poem we will see that how, we have to make choices on certain situations in our life, and the choice that actually we make actually shapes our life, such as, as you are you have come in 12th, in class 12th, and here you have to make choice, whether you want to go in science faculty or in commerce faculty, and now you have to choose only one. So and this choice is actually will shape up your life. So it's all about actually choice making in our life, what sort of choice and whether the choice is right or not. Everything in our life will depend upon that. So, from this poem, a student, you all can very easily relate yourself. Robert Frost is actually an American poet who writes simply but insightfully. Insightfully, a student here means to say that, in a very detailed, he has an insight. He has an insight knowledge of the given topic. That is why he is a well-known poet. Now, and he writes in very ordinary, he actually writes his shares his ordinary experiences, and he just talks about common and simple things actually. Let's introduce you the story student first, sorry, the poem first. In this poem, "The Road Not Taken," the road symbolizes our life. The poet says that the path that we don't choose in our life is the road not taken. It's actually the title of the poem. He describes his feelings about the choices that he had left in the past. Whenever we choose, we have to make one out of two choices. The choice that we did not able to make, actually the choice with which we left in our life, the path which we have chosen decides our future and our destination here, student, is your award, is your final destination. Wherever you reach, actually it's all about the choice, what sort of choice you have made. Your destination depends upon that. The important message that the poet wants to give is that the choice that we make has an impact on our future, and if we make wrong choice, we regret it but cannot go back on it. So we must be wise while making choices. You can easily correlate yourself, students, with this. Whenever we sometimes make mistakes, or whenever we actually, just do something in hurriedness without thinking, sometime, it actually causes, it actually, we find ourselves in some problem in doing so. So actually, taking right decisions and making good choice is all about that. Let's read the first stanza of the poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And we one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it went in the undergrowth. Now here students, let's discuss some hard words. The word diverse, you would understand the meaning of this word diverse, from where two things is separated, go separate ways. That's what it means, go in separate ways. That's what the meaning of diverse. You would have seen the banner of diverse on roads sometimes. And a student, yellow board here actually represents the season, the autumn season. In the forest, look at here, in the forest everywhere, the fallen leaves, the leaves which have been fallen onto the ground, are actually yellow leaves. This suggests that the dried leaves, and in which season actually the leaves of the plant falls is actually in autumn season. So from the yellow wood here, we get to know that the poet is standing in this forest here, and the forest in which he is standing right now is actually in the autumn season, because the leaves of the plants have been fallen down on the ground, and that is why these are yellow leaves. So because of the yellow leaves, the poet is referring that forest, that wood, as yellow wood, and this actually suggests the season, the autumn season. And student, wood, the word wood is used for forest, a small forest generally, or jungle. The word wood is used. So and now the poet is actually saying you that he is narrating you that two roads diverge in a yellow wood. There are two roads in a wood, in a forest. He is standing here, the poet is standing here, and from here two roads have been diverged. Two roads are going in separate ways. And further the poet is saying that, and he is very sorry, he is feeling sorry that he cannot travel both the roads. Now you can understand that at one time you can travel only one road. So just like that, poet cannot travel in both the road at the same time. So he is feeling sorry for that. Why is feeling sorry for that? Because he thinks that, he actually wants to know about both the roads, how he doesn't want to regret in the future. So he wants to travel in both the roads. Suppose, if you are not very sure about your career option, if you are thinking that, you are 50-50 about something, if you say that you want to become a cricketer also and a film star also, you are not very choosy about these two things, and you want to actually do both, but you can do only one. So you would feel sorry for that, and you would also feel insecure. You will feel that if I would not get success in one thing, that I will regret that I should have done so. So if the poet is thinking here that if he will choose this road, and after going ahead in the road, if he would fight, if he will have to face some difficulties in the road, then he would regret there, oh, I could have chosen that road, that road would have been better. So that is why actually the poet is telling you that he is feeling sorry that he cannot travel both the road, because in the in the future, who knows, he will have to regret that he didn't choose this road or this road, because he is not sure which road is good from ahead. Now, as he is the only one traveler and be one traveler, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could. Now the poet is further telling you that, there was no one except him. He was the only traveler there. Look at here. You know, one traveler, there was only one traveler, he was the only traveler, and there was no one else. Sometimes, in our life we see someone else doing something, and from that we get an idea that we should also do that. If your friend has chosen science faculty, then by looking at him also, you decide something that I should also do that. So in human life, sometimes it about what the others are doing or what the majority of the people doing. Many things depend on that also sometimes. That's not a good thing, but that's the tendency of humans to do that. So actually here the writer, the poet is also telling you that, but here in this case it's not like that, because he is the only one traveler. There are no other traveler but he only. So he stood there for a long time waiting. He took time to decide which road he should take. So long I stood here represents that he stood there for a long period of time to decide that what road actually he should take. The word long is referring here two things. Sometimes long refers to wait, but here it is referring that he stood there for a long time to decide that which road he should take. And he looked down, he looked ahead in both the road as far as one could see. As far as one man can see, he looked as far in both those road to see how the road is further. In the career option or in whichever choices we make, we always, that's our tendency, we generally tend to think about its consequences, that what consequences. The poet is thinking here that if he would choose this road, then what sort of consequences he will have to face, and if he choose this road, then what sort of consequences he will have to face. He is thinking upon all these things, and then he will ultimately decide that what road he should take. Now he is looking both the roads as far as his eyes could see, and he is actually seeing at the road till where he is actually seeing the road from that position where the road is went means मुड़ गया है the bend down. ये रोड को वहां तक आके देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं जहां तक रोड एक जगह जाके घूम जाते हैं. And the undergrowth here student represents where the road is too many bushes or many trees have grown there, and beyond that one person cannot see. So from there till there he actually saw in both the road, and he is not so sure still that whether which road he should take or which road he shouldn't take. Students, tomorrow we will read the second paragraph of this poem. Not only second, tomorrow we will complete the poem. This is not a very long poem, it's a very small one. So today I introduced you the poem. Since I introduced you the poem today and tell you about the and told you about the poet also, that is why we could not able to complete the poem today. Tomorrow we will complete it. Now let's see the second stanza. First we will read the full stanza and then I will try to explain it. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. Now students, actually in the second stanza, the poet is now comparing those two roads. Yesterday you saw that he was unsure, he was really not sure that which road he should take. He just waited there for a long time to decide which road he should see, which road he should go through or which road he shouldn't go through. He actually observed both the roads as carefully as possible, and he looked as fine both the road as he could see, so that he could decide which road is a better one. Whenever you have to choose from two options, you always wanted to see that which option is actually a better option to choose. So that's what the poet was also trying. He was also observing both the roads. He actually looked the road till the undergrowth. Yesterday in the paragraph you saw that it was actually the dense forest, the dense bushes, beyond which you cannot see. So he looked at that, he looked till that actually, and then he was actually staying there to decide. And now he is comparing both the roads, and he is telling you that then looking at the road he found that both the roads are very similar to each other in appearance. When he's saying that as just as fair, it means both the roads were similar to each other. So here student mean to say that actually that both the roads were similar, very similar to each other, you know. But the one road that poet feels that he has to ultimately choose one of those two, so he is and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted weird. So from those two roads, after comparing them, after seeing that both the roads are looking similar to each other, just as fair as the other, just as good as the other road. Look at here, the road that poet took was also in say same in appearance as the road that he did not take. So actually both the roads were looking similar to each other, both the roads were very same, student. In poems there are always some confusing terms used, and so to clarify that, I have actually given you in written form also all the terms, all the phrases which may confuse you. These are the phrases that have been used in this poem and that might confuse a good student, such as won them, wanted, where, better claim, just as fair. So I have explained all these phrases so that you can understand easily. I have explained you passing there also. You will see all these meanings. Actually, I have written what these phrases have been used for. But now you are saying that the poet ultimately he has to choose one of the road because he cannot stay there forever. He has to go, he has to choose one road. So it is just in our life, you cannot stop at one point. Life is all about moving. You will have to move from one place to another. It's not about stopping. Time keeps going always, keeps moving, time always keep passing. You have to choose, you have to do. You cannot sit or lie without doing anything. You have to do ultimately. You will have to choose ultimately one option from the given two options. So you can correlate these things with your life. So actually he has to ultimately choose one of those two roads. And which road he actually choose ultimately? He chooses the road that he thinks that is better. And why he thinks that the road is better? Because he thinks that this road is grassy and wanted beer. Student, look at here, the road is grassy, shows that the road actually was less used. That's what it means to say. And actually when the writer is telling you that the road was also wanted weird, it means that this road was less used, so B can use this road. This was a less used word, so it is not bear up, it is not worn up. So student, when you wear a dress many times, that dress is actually worn out. So if you have a new dress, if you have not wear that, so that dress is bilkul fresh and not torn and not dirty also. So just like that, and the poet is thinking that this road, the road that he chose, is less used road, and this road is actually we can use it because it is the less used. It has not been worn up so far. I should use that road. That's what the narrator actually thought. Now he's further telling you that, and I have actually explained you wanted beer here. You can read that in written form also. Now though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Now, but actually in the beginning the poet actually thought that both the roads are same. There was not much difference, except this road is less used. This road actually we can use it because it would be not worn out. It has not been used because it is grassy. So now if a road is very and a used road, where people are traveling on that road a lot, then that road will not be grassy, and all the grass of the road would be dried up and would be gone. But if a road is grassy, it suggests that I don't know, people are not using it a lot. So for that reason actually the poet chose that road. But after walking through the road, after going through the road, look at here, Though as for that passing there, means to say that after going through the road, the poet finally find out that this road is also as much borne out as the first road was looking. Now the student, the key thing here is that in the first road, the narrator actually didn't go through, he didn't walk, so he cannot say that what kind of the road that what kind of the road that was. But actually, by looking at that, he was feeling that that road is very used up road, it would have been a worn up road. So he thought that this road is less used and it would be a good road, it would be not broken, it would be not. But ultimately, on walking through the road, he finds that this road is also as worn up as that he felt that first road would have been. He actually didn't know exactly, he cannot say it confirmly that how worn up the first road would have been. But by looking at it, it was feeling, you would got the feeling that the first road was actually very much used and it would have been worn up. But after walking through this road also, the poet got to know that this road is also as much worn out as the first road. If you have wear a shirt many times, then it is worn out. It means, if you use something many times, so this road is also as much worn out as the first road would have been. So student, here with this we are getting to know that sometimes before taking a decision or before choosing an option, we feel that this option would be better for me, this option would have been great for me. But after actually choosing, we realize and we got to know the truth. So beforehand we cannot say something with guarantee that this would be like that and this would be like that. So student, with this we have come to an end with the second stanza also. Tomorrow we will read the next two stanza of the poem. And this poem is not very long enough, but I am explaining you in detail. So tomorrow we will see the next two stanza of the poem.